Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel Techie Kumar. In the last video of Spring Webflux tutorial, we learned about the introduction, what is Webflux and why we should go for learning it. In this video, we are going to discuss the most important topic that we need to learn before we start get dive into Spring Webflux. So the topic is publisher subscriber model. In short, we also call it as pub sub model. Yes, it is really very important to understand what is publisher, what is subscriber, and what is subscription. So let's start with a very simple example. Are you able to find any publisher or subscriber around you? If you think, you will definitely get a number of publisher and subscribers around you. You are yourself a subscriber. For example, you are using a WhatsApp app. In this application, you have installed it and you have provided your credentials and you are logged in. Whenever you want to chat with somebody, you open WhatsApp and do the chat. But you don't go and check those responses frequently. Whenever the response of the chat arrives, you will get notified. So that is the model of PubSub, where you are a subscriber and WhatsApp server is a publisher. Whenever a response of your chat arrives in your inbox, then it will be notified by WhatsApp to you. You are not going to check your response, check your friend's response, after interval of time or maybe frequently. No, we don't do that. So the thing is, like, we want to wait. We don't want to wait for the responses. Our task is to send the message and just get relaxed, and whenever the reply of that message arrives, we will be notified by the application. We can see another example of Netflix, where if any new movies or any new song, whatever, right, any new content arrives in Netflix, you will get notified. Maybe not specific to one movie, but that comes as a broadcast. That also pops up model. So in real time, when we talk about the PubSub model, basically the PubSub model has three parts. So let's get into the OneNote and let's see how it works. So I have already created a diagram which will help us to understand what is PubSub model. So this is the external system which provides data to our publisher. There are three systems here. If we are calling system as S, so these are three systems. The first one is publisher, second one is broker, and third is subscriber. External system is the system which provides data to publisher, and publisher puts those data to broker, and these are called as maybe topic. In case of Kafka, we call it as topic. Somewhere we also call it as a queue. In case of Solace, we call it as queue. So when a publisher publishes its message, it goes to topic or queue, whatever we define in a broker, and then it will push those data to subscriber. So subscriber has one responsibility, just to subscribe the publisher. If this is the publisher and there are number of subscribers, one, so let's say there are 30 subscribers. All these subscribers have already subscribed this publisher. So if any data arrives at this publisher, that will be published to all these subscribers who are the subscriber of this publisher. This entire system where publisher and subscriber made a system, right? So this is called as subscription. So whenever a subscription is created between publisher and subscriber, then there would be a relation and any data arrives to publisher that will be delegated to subscriber. It's not that much difficult. In our case, we are learning Webflux, right? In our case, we are not having broker here. We are not using broker. We are having publisher and we are having subscriber. So publisher is going to publish the data and subscriber will consume the data. Now there are three events which is fired by publisher. Those are next, error and complete. Whenever publisher publishes an item, then it calls next. When something goes wrong, then it publishes error event. And when the task is completed, it publishes complete event. Based on these events, subscriber can take an action. For example, whenever the subscriber is getting data, so that data can be processed for their requirement. So whenever a next event is called by publisher, that call can be listened at the subscriber end as a callback, and that will be on next event. So subscriber will have three methods: on next, on error and on complete. So whenever the event is published, let's say next, then that will come, the data will come in this callback. If error happens, that can be cached here. Similarly, when the task is completed, we can be notified in on complete. So whenever we have logic which need to be processed based on the calling of next item of that publisher, so we can write that code in on next. If we want to handle the error, if some error happens at the publisher end and if we want to take some action, then we can put that piece of code in on error. And similarly, if the publisher completes its task and we want to do some action, or we want to do to send some notification to somebody, then we can add that code in on complete. So this is the theory part of this publisher and subscriber. I don't want to make this very complex. It's really very easy. One person is publisher, another is subscriber. Publisher task is to publishes the data and subscriber's task is to just subscribe and sit relax. Whenever a new data arrives, it will be notified to the subscriber. That's it. So let's get into the code lab. We are just going to use a very simple example to understand how publisher works. As of now, I have showed you here, we are having three systems, but in example what we are going to talk about, that will not have such kind of three different systems. Okay, I mean those are not standalone systems. So here we will have publisher, we will have subscriber, and we can see how the publisher publishing the data and subscriber taking action based on the event published by the publisher. So let's get into the code lab. So this is the simple code what I have written, where I have a system. You can consider this as a system. You can consider this as a system. You can consider this as a S1, which is a publisher, and here we are having another system which is going to subscribe it, which is S2. Okay, so you can see here we have a subscriber and we have a publisher. We are not having broker here. So what's happening, this system is going to provide data and subscriber is going to consume the data. As we discussed, there are three events published by the publisher: next, error and complete, and we are going to use those events to process our code. So let's see what is written here. So this is the publisher. In Webflux we have two publishers, which is Mono and another one is Flux. We will talk about this two publishers in the next video, and we will try to understand how it works and how we can create our mono or flux and how we can use them to write in REST APIs, which works as a a synchronous API, okay, by following the reactive coding. So here we have a flux which is going to produce data from 1 to 10, and we want, if that item, if that count is or item is equal to 3, then we are saying that we need to throw error. So I'm just trying to simulate a scenario where a publisher can throw an error, okay, and that also need to be handled. So let's start. So first of all, what I'll do, I'll make this condition as 12 so that it should not execute, and we'll see how it works. I'm going to save this. I'm using Spring Dev Tools, so I don't need to restart. It will be reloaded automatically if I do any change. And now if we see the code, there is no change. The reason is I have not called this method. So let's call this method inside this main method. Okay, now let's save this. Okay, so here you can see that. Let's analyze what's happened. We have written this piece of code. We have written this piece of code inside a value, okay, and actually this subscriber is having 3 consumers. Guys, you must be aware about functional programming and Java 8 what we are using, right, lambda, so that you must need to be aware to learn about the Webflux, right, that I have already mentioned in the previous video. So if you don't know, please go and search on the YouTube. You will get a number of tutorials that will explain much better about the Java 8. So what you need to do, you need to understand here subscribe is expecting 3 consumers, okay. The first consumer is for on next event, second consumer is for error, and the third one is on completed. So whenever application starts, publisher starts publishing data, okay. So when publisher starts publishing data, it comes to, it's come to here, okay, and what we are doing, we are multiplying each item with 2. So that's why we can see the table of 2 here, right. So the first item is 2, then 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 and 20, okay. So once the task is completed, the event published by the publisher is complete, and that's why we are able to catch that inside this consumer, completed. So that's why we are able to print completed, and this is the process. Now let's throw some error while processing the data, so that let's see, like, if the publisher is throwing some error, are we able to catch that inside the error consumer, okay. And this is the error consumer, and this will be invoked on error or error event published by the publisher. So let's see. So for that, what I'll do, I'll change this value, let's say 5. So it means that if item is equal to 5, then it will throw error, and that will be caught inside the error consumer. One more thing that need to be noticed here is publisher can publish any one of the event between error and complete. If error is thrown, then complete event will be never thrown, and if complete is thrown, then error event will never be thrown, okay. So let's see what I said. In that case, we should not be able to see this completed. Okay, if any exception occurred or if any error occurred in the publisher while publishing the data. So let's execute this. So I just need to save this and it will be, our context will be reloaded automatically. Here we go. Good. So you can see we are able to process only 4 items, and after that we are getting error. Right here you can see we are able to process till 4 to the 8, and then after, when the item is equal to 5, we got an error event from the publisher, and that's why we are able to catch that exception inside this here error. Right, so that's how it works, guys. Maybe it comes in your mind like how we can use this in real application. So that's why we need to discuss this in the next video, where we will discuss about mono and flux. I will discuss like how we can use this in real time, but this example just to explain what is publisher, subscriber, what is subscription, and how it works, and what are different kinds of events. If you understand these things, then you would be able to understand like how your application is working in case of reactive programming. This brings me to the end of this video. I hope you liked this video. If you really liked it, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you very much for watching my video.